last night and I was sweating even after the sun.
Yeah.
Mine now. I did that earlier. Oh my God. No, that was part of my civic duty this morning. I ran around picking up trash. I was on my bike for exercise. And now I come with the truck and all over the
Got rid of all those limbs.
I didn't get a ballot in the mail. Are they going to have extra ballots here?
They should have. Joyce will be here in a few minutes. Do you have a renter named Jeremy Weir? Who? Jeremy Weir? Dang it. I called you last night. There were 6 police cars in here last night.
6 what?
6 police cars, sheriff deputies in here last night. 3:30 in the morning looking for Jeremy Weir right there in front of your renter's house.
Well, somebody called me at 3:57 this morning. Okay.
And they thought it was one of those houses. And they were trying to ping a phone and trying to find him. They wouldn't tell me for what. You know, they never do. But they said it was very important, and they needed to find Jeremy Weir. And I said, I said the houses where you're looking have to be a renter, and I couldn't find him as an owner on any of the owner lists. I said, so you have to be a renter somewhere in here. And I said, if it's on the street, it had to be, probably one of Gordon Armand. So I didn't want to bother you that late, but I figured if it was that important, I would call. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I have a renter, but his name starts with a J, but it's not Jeremy.
Is that the gentleman that we met out that day on the street with the whatever he had, lizard or whatever it was? I can't remember.
No, that's somebody else. I'm talking about the guys next to that.
Yeah.
But
Well, at least it wasn't one of them. Nobody's heard
it might have been one of his friends. If there's cars there overnight, I'm assuming they're just.
At least, at least it was. Hopefully, it's just odd. 6 of them. Never have I seen 6 police cars in the sheriff's deputy one time since all. And they come with no sirens, no lights. How's it going, Todd? Making it. So,
I don't know what to say.
Yeah, well, I guess it ended up all
I
right.
saw you out. He goes, I wonder what's going on. He goes, I didn't call on me.
Yeah, I know it. I mean, it was early. So, it ended up all right, I hope, anyway. I couldn't find anything or anybody. I mean, you see all the cop cars, too?
Yeah, no, we haven't seen a cop car.
Well, there was a
He
bunch
saw
of
your
them.
truck.
They were coming in one by one right after another. There's something
Stick down it and I can't get it off. I tried.
How you feeling, Ronnie? Oh, I'm making it.
It's hot today.
Humid, too.
Well, one good thing is you can see the fall stuff, sooner or later it's
Oh, it was making,
There is no more mail for you.
making copies.
I ended up there, you know.
I think I had it in my bag.
Your taste good, Zach. Oh, it's crazy.
Sunny Day comes up there, I used to come on one side and come on one side. Robbie, should have opened with the bathroom. Forgot my ballot.
That's okay.
And all, right on the front, bring this, remember.
You can have it. Just make some copies, yeah. Put everything in it. You having a good day?
Yeah, how about you guys?
It's that there. You ever like swing down or the?
Oh, we have to do it here.
I think both of them, he's at
So guys, how are y'all doing?
So, you see there? It is now.
If y'all signed in, which we do need to have y'all signed in, and if you do want to speak at the end, we'll just let you come up one at a time. During the meeting, if you, like again, this is not a board meeting, so, but if you do have any questions, if you would write it down and say it towards the end rather than in between, that way we can move along smoothly, and then we will, at the end, we will obviously address everything and have a time to have a question and answer. So we'll start with our board introduction, and rather than me doing roll call, I'd rather go around and everyone introduce themselves. I'll check off who's present, and that way they'll have a name and a face. I'm sure most of you, we all know each other, but just in case.
Okay, I'm Lori Stein, the vice president.
I'm Janelle Sunday, board director.
Joyce Patterson, Wiles, president.
I'm Karen Lau, president,
Rodney Snell, secretary.
and absent today is our John Bo Roach, board, and he is out of town, and Steve Kelly. Well, we're going to start with, basically that was my opening statement. I do want to say that we're going to try to make this a comfortable situation. We don't, if we're going to have a disagreement, I'd rather go outside. We have not put the monies together. We didn't feel we were going to have to worry about a peace officer this year, because we're going to feel everyone's on their best behavior. And we want to make sure we just address all the issues, and then we can make this an enjoyable and successful annual meeting. And that's, I'm going to start and move it on over to the financial report.
On the bank account status to date, with everything paid to date, there are two small, less than $500 in checks outstanding. We have a current balance of $9,976.11. The next report is something that's generated from QuickBooks on the percentage of the change from the same time period to August 30th of 2012, and the difference between the comparison between the 2 years. There is a discrepancy. There's a discrepancy on the last report. You guys are going to see a difference in the net income versus the actual bank account balance at this point. And that is something that the CPA is working on with QuickBooks. It is legal credits that we have to allow for foreclosed properties in the state of Texas as of 2012. We cannot hold the banking institution accountable for delinquent accounts. So those have to be credited, unfortunately. However, it's originally set up as reporting strangely in QuickBooks.
I don't know if you all heard, but could you repeat again what our balance is right now?
Oh, $9,976.11.
We're going into the slowest part of the year now. This is usually when the dues that have been paid, everyone's paid, have that size of a balance left is, I don't think we've had that in years. So I think that's kudos to the fact that we've been extremely diligent, extremely with what we spend our monies on. And now we can start applying these items to things we're going to discuss now as we hit each of the amenities, things that are overdue to be repaired and replaced. We've just up to this point, we've never had funds available where we could actually say we can apply that. We're not at a point where we're in a negative or close to a zero balance. I just want to bring that to your attention that we're entering September, the last quarter of the year, with a good amount of money still in our account.
Congratulations.
Okay, well, we're going to move on to the amenities, and what we're going to let each of the chair people of the amenity discuss things. But if, this is an informal homeowners meeting, so if we see things that you all, like I said, I'd like to wait for the questions from the audience, but we will obviously address anything. But what we're going to try and talk to you about are things that were repaired, replaced, renovated in the last year, and what we're looking at to go ahead and address in the year 2014 as well. We're going to start with the clubhouse pool and the POA office. I just want to say, I don't know if y'all know there, years past, that POA office was a dungeon. It was not even what I would call not spread out, they're all there, filed, QuickBooks, everything is now on site in the POA office. We get a bookkeeper, it's gonna be all contained.
We've got a new computer. Last year, the McKinney's donated an air conditioner. That room's been gone through and cleaned up. It looks nice. Joyce and Lori have gone through. There's new files for every homeowner, which has never been done before. So there's a big difference in all of that. Lori, you want to talk about the clubhouse? Is there anything particular you want to say about the clubhouse?
No, just that it's been used for our 4th of July party. People had a great time there. They, we had games and everything for the kids, and we had food for everybody, and this was for the whole community. And it's been the second year that after the party and everything, we've had people who have been elected have come in and started paying the dues. So it's a good, I'm sorry.
On the pool, we have new pumps. They're a really, really good deal on the new pump. For the big pool, $3,400. They're working beautifully. It's going to stay clean. We've had volunteers this year, so it's not cost us anything. It's come close, probably paying for itself even with it since we've had the volunteers. We've got bids for roofs on all 3 buildings, so we'll probably, here in the next few weeks, be getting that roof replaced. Even getting the yard cut, either through volunteer services or through the homeowner.
Our goal this year was to try the volunteer process as much as possible to save money. In the past, labor's been paid for, and that's one of the problems, whereas by the end of the year, or even before the end of the year, our balance was 0, and sometimes previous president had actually put an infusion of his own money in to keep this balance. We don't want to ever go that route again. We've got to live within our means, but at the same time, we are working with 1960s era generation buildings, and they're starting to deteriorate. But we want to keep them. We got it for our insurance policy. They're never going to reinsure them. They do need inspections every year, so we have to make sure that we are doing our due diligence. We've got roofs that are rotting. Our pump pool houses, the roof's rotting underneath, so we're going to have to replace the roof. We have this little breezeway here is rotting away. It's got to be either removed or replaced. So what we're just going to do, we're going out for 3 bids. We're going to try and find out the best deal to do, and then this year, that's going to be our budget, is we have to replace the roofs on these buildings and address whatever dry rot. And again, the Board of Insurance sends out inspectors, and they do walk properties now, so if they see something, they need to get coverage. Sometimes they ask you to replace these things. So we're trying to go ahead and address that now rather than get caught in January when our policy comes up. So, but we are addressing that. We'll get 3 bids. We're going to get the most effective.
Just a quick note, we haven't spoken last few days. I've actually got 5 bids. It's all taken care of. So just a quick, I had spoken with
Good.
So that's done. And another thing on the pool, normally we pay somebody to take care of the pool. I've been doing it also. I've been doing it since last October. So we haven't had to pay anybody that either.
We've also approved to have new light fixtures that are replacing the 8-foot light fixtures inside. We have all new light fixtures for the outside of the clubhouse building. The toilets have been repaired and all of the insides replaced in the ladies' bathroom. I'm sorry.
Security system.
We have a security system that's being used temporarily, positioned to be used now, but it is being installed for the clubhouse so that the recording will take place inside as well, so that we can use those in place of a video camcorder to upload to the website and such for all the meetings.
Because people were crawling over the fence, getting into the pool and damage and stuff, so this will, if it happens, we will
on to lakes, tennis court, and our parks. I don't even know if we have a committee chair for that. I do want to say in the parks, we removed 4 large dead pine trees. We had notification from a homeowner about 2 dead ones near the tennis courts in the back, and we had those removed as well as one that was here in the beach park and one down at the beach pier that was a large dead tree. We went ahead and had all 4 removed for $800, which was a really good price. And those, we're just trying to, as we see them, to address them. Potential hurricane, we have to be careful. As far as the lake, it's in dire straits. Part of the problem is and I know some of the other board members are a little more familiar about what's going on with that overflow, but we've got the dam, we've got the bulkheads rotted out, another budget item for next year.
There's 100% corrosion on the overflow. Got a report on that. There's also animals that dug part of the way through the dam, so it's leaking that way, so we're going to have to get that repaired. I think of what else.
That overflow is a large galvanized metal pipe, and it's, again, 1962 era. It's way beyond its lifespan. It's literally just gone, and it's just a tube of dirt being barely held in by this rusted metal. And so what's happening is it's leaching. It's leaching out, and I guess what we found out was there were actually beavers from however long ago we had beavers here that tunneled through parts of the dam. All that has to be addressed, and now over the years the silt's built up, so the lake itself has lost its depth, and that's another problem because the water's too warm now for a lot of the fish. We're talking big bucks. I don't know what we can do for next year. Obviously, the bulkheads that are rotted away and fall off, that this is an ideal time now because there's no water there to get those all replaced to shore up the park wall and then to find out what's going on with that overflow pipe. And then if we can just take some of that dirt and put it up and over to help reinforce the dam, but then we're looking at talking to the county. So it's going to be a prolonged project for 2014 to find out what's going on with our lake, and we just have to keep praying to get some more rain as well. And as far as, if you can write your question down, we will obviously definitely address it, but we just want to keep moving on. As far as the tennis court, we have had some people look at it, and that base that they ever put down back then is not even actually a qualified surface for tennis. It's cracked, it's unstable. We've had it looked at, and they said you have to completely do a new overlay because whatever they did back then just to make it a place to play was not considered a correct surface. I don't know if anyone else here has something to share about that. That's been kind of a sore point for a lot of people because it's not very happy little place to look at over there. We have a sizable amount of acreage behind it and to the left of it. Again, that's going to be a project to address, but we've got so much to look into with our repairs. We've got to make a priority list. So we are aware of it.
Yeah, so many years of neglect. Just one thing at a time.
And anybody else want to comment on the lakes?
On the tennis courts and stuff, down by the tennis courts, that homeowner has got a lot of junk cars and a lot of junk that we have to get the county to get rid of all that stuff.
Yes, we've taken pictures. There's a homeowner that has made himself a little more comfortable going off behind his fence line, and so we've taken pictures, and that is POA property, and we will have to address that. That's been an issue, I think, as long as the subdivision is around, people kind of like to spread out, and we're trying to diligently try to one at a time address that. Regarding our airstrip, I haven't had a lot. I know that Rodney's been up there a few times, and I think what we're going to do is, I'm not sure what else to comment on. I know we have some airstrip gentlemen here, so later on, if you have anything you wanted to talk about, I don't want to bring this up today because I've got that irrigation. We'll do that. So I don't have anything else to comment on tractor and the brush hog are still available for them for their use to mow. They've been doing that always. And we're not trying to rock the boat, so as long as they want to keep using our tractor, brush hog, and our diesel.
They've been on it, they use the diesel, they can work out the brush hog all the time, but they've been doing it.
Our horse stables, we've got 6 horses there presently. Another situation where we need repairs and on some of the fencing, you could pretty much just lean on it, it'll fall over, and so a horse could get out, and that's a liability issue. We're just gonna get bids and see if it's something we can just get the materials
Yeah, we've still
and make
got,
the repairs.
yeah, we've still got some money out that we voted on a while back for the repairs, so it's still outstanding.
And Charles McKinney's been out there with the tractor mowing
Yeah,
it,
mowed a
and
lot.
really, it's helping make the entrance to the subdivision look so much better. You drive in now, it's not just 4-foot-high weeds. There's been several, when we had the burn, we were able to burn last fall, we had quite a bit of old debris burn, so it looks so much better when you drive down. We have a new date. If you'll just, Amy, save your question till the end. We're going to go through all amenities, and then we'll let everybody talk and talk, okay? Okay. Anything else from Ms. Dennis? Janelle actually is the chair. I shouldn't have stepped over her.
Well, I haven't really got to get with anybody down there at the horse stables when they're down there, because they're doing at their time and I'm at my time, so, I mean, nobody has called me on anything or anything like that.
And we have a big group of horses down there. It's a pleasure to drive down High Line now, and you see a lot of nice horses. So we're proud of that amenity, and we're trying as much as we can to keep it up with whatever funds we have, we're just taking care of it now. And I think last year, right now, each homeowner pays $25 a month per horse. So there is funds being generated. It's not part of your dues. You pay your annual dues, but for each horse you own, you have to pay $25 a month. So that's paying for the water, electricity, helping towards all those costs.
Pay your own way.
As far as the golf course, Bo is not here today. He's out for the holiday. He had some plans he couldn't get out of. But I'll let Rodney speak about that. They've been working up there diligently with the equipment.
Yeah, he's been doing most of it up and down there, helping him some. We have problems with the electricity in the buildings. We got that going, we're running some new line. He's all been doing a lot of mowing. Charles been down there helping us do some of the mowing. We're going to have a re-grand opening here pretty soon. Somebody purposely, it appears purposely, I'm not sure of that, and damaged some of the greens. We've got plans to redo some of them. We're going to have a re-grand opening probably within the next month, I hope. Bo knows a little more about that when he wants to do it. It's up to him. But
All the equipment's running.
at the moment, yeah.
The tractor, the riding mower's been completely retuned. We have the weed eater up and running again, and we have some people looking into a new engine for the Kubota, if that's possible. That would help us greatly rather than having to buy a new tractor or another new used tractor. Also, some of you may not be aware, we are open, and we are open for the public by selling guest passes, memberships.
Yes, ma'am.
So we will be stepping up that, it's on the website, and we will start stepping that up with some advertising and some new signs there to promote it. It is open to all homeowners. All you need is the code for the gate. And then as far as to bring in extra income, we have agreed, and the board will start, you're going to be starting to sell them, guest membership. So, that's what I'm going to say, it's not a closed course, and with the funds that we can start generating, we can start bringing in some more improvements, and again, for 2014, we want to get some caretakers and things like that to start helping, and not rely on volunteers so much, because we're wearing them. Anybody else any comments on the golf course? And again, I know you all have questions, we will definitely go through all of them, just let us go through here, and then we can go then as far as the common areas of the subdivision, I'm not sure if y'all are aware, but due to the extraordinary efforts of Charles McKinney, by his contact with Montgomery, through the nuisance abatement program in Montgomery County, we had 4 homes demolished by the county at no cost to the POA. Huge kudos to Charles for that. Just awful problems that we had, that the homeowners are either just gone or somewhere and they could not be tracked down. We had several on Sky Lane, that little A-frame on Piper, and one over on Pinehurst. And basically, we have more that we'd like for them to go after, but they used up their budget. So Montgomery County said they used most of their budget for this program in Lake Bonanza. And I was just shocked that they took everything. The foundation, the driveway, the septic system, they took it all. So it's cleaned up, and I'm thrilled. And we will just continue. I'm hoping now that some of the other homeowners that maybe are living in some of these little shacks, and they actually live there, they may take notice, because it doesn't matter if they're occupied or not. But
Or doing some repair.
yeah, so we're going to continue now. The Montgomery County's 2014 budget's been approved, and we're going to hit them up. We'll see what more we can get in 2014. I hope you all noticed our new subdivision signs. We've got one there over at the stables, and then another on Cartwright. Beautiful signs. It was our homeowner, Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon Burns.
He did those, and we're going to hope to budget some more for the golf course, smaller versions for the golf course, and some of the clubhouse ladies, so we can find the pool. Obviously not as big, but we're going to continue to use a homeowner who's got put a lot of pride into those signs. I just think they're fabulous.
Yeah, he's guaranteed them for at least 10 years.
Yeah, they're made out of metal. They're telephone old folks, so they're not going anywhere.
No.
The one right here in the pool was done more than 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah, that's right, Flash Gordon, he did that, the big sign here where all the pool rules are. So that's 10 plus years old and it's still going strong. As far as anything else for the common areas, we're just going to continue our goal this year, but it didn't happen, but we want to do is try to go back to what was going on in the 60s and 70s, was to have a caretaker. Somebody to work for the subdivision and take care of all the amenities, all the mowing, so the pool area, the parks, trash picked up. It's just going to be a matter of seeing how we can work it into our budget to do something, maybe part-time through the winter months, and then in the summers and the spring when it's growing season, we have to have someone here to take care of our amenities and everything local.
I hope we have a whole lot more done in my next year this time.
Anything else the board wants to add for the common areas? Well, what we're going to go on is to receive the ballots that from the mail-in and close that voting, and then we will open the floor to nominations. We have 2 board of director seats that have come up for this year that have expired or vacant. So first we'll do the ballots.
We want to have a member come up with us opening ballots. Somebody, Gordon, Gene, Gordon, come on. Some of these may need bills.
Payments, not bills.
Bills, well, payments, that's what I'm.
Payments, checks.
Yeah, I wish they were a whole bunch of checks. Let's see.
Want to do some questions while we're doing it?
Yeah, sure.
Why don't we open up the floor, y'all have some questions, and let's go ahead and have an open forum. Feel free, just one at a time is all we ask. You'll stand up, you don't have to stand up, just like you are for the camera. Andy?
We'll go through them first.
I know I said it once to you already,
Not this year.
but
Not this year.
what I didn't
The
know
attorney suggested we not.
at the particular time when I was talking to you is the whole
Yeah,
new
on 2 opens.
posts and signs that are new. Okay? I don't know why you didn't take down the old one or whatever, but it really looks nice.
They're the old ones.
The old ones
They're
are
gone.
gone now.
as of yesterday,
They're gone.
they're gone. Charles, the
They're
winter's
dug
coming.
out and pulled out or
Yep,
whatever.
Charles took them down the day before yesterday. Tore them out.
They're in the back of his truck, you know, not one.
No, they're actually out of the back of the truck now, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, the new ones are with treated telephone pole posts. I mean, I saw them and was wondering what those were, didn't realize. And the signs are made of metal. They're treated metal, so they're not gonna rust. And you guarantee those for how long?
At least 10 years.
10 years.
Treated metal and painted.
Yeah, and then the Flash Gordon who made the signs, they're guaranteed for 10 years, no rust, no fading. And based on the sign here at the pool, I believe that he's shellacked and everything.
Yeah, they look nice.
I know.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Now, if everything else falls in behind it,
I know, baby
We have-
steps, baby steps.
yeah.
We're doing it, like I said. Anybody else?
Are there any?
Johnny?
Yeah, you were talking a while ago about the overflow pipe out there. Are you talking about the inner pipe or are you talking about the outer pipe?
Inner, all the
Inner
way.
pipe?
Yeah.
Here's
Henry Musterman is one of your neighbors over here at the back of the subdivision. He actually took his equipment and everything out there and shot it and did all of that good stuff. He said there's nothing detectable, it's all rust.
Right now, I think the water level's about 3 feet away from the pipe, it's up here, so there's no water going in.
And anytime we get rain and it gets that close, what's happening is because the water level's gone, because everything, and it keeps drying up, and everywhere that it's drying up, that sand and everything is moving in, and it's just lifting it. I mean,
I
we've
thought I
lost
counted
5 foot
16
in
meters.
just until and it's dry all the way around, it's messy.
That's all right. I count the same thing, Bert, that way.
go to November either.
Is there any more ballots from the floor anywhere? Well, there are 5. And there are none with anything on. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We don't know what's on them, so
That's probably the one.
probably just a mistake. But either way, there are 5 that are filled out correctly. Signatures, etc.
Okay.
That are valid votes.
Okay. Do we want to go ahead and count those for now, or do we?
Yeah, well, these we can count these. There are 5 valid votes for both Laura and Lori, and Joyce.
Okay.
So, and there are none from we don't have any ballots here at all. Okay. Now, I believe we have a couple of nominations here on the floor for the other 2 positions. Go ahead, Joy.
I'd like to nominate Sean.
Okay. And there was another one. Doris,
Paul Manning?
Manny. Okay, for the other 2 positions.
These are for the 2 director positions that are expiring as of this year, that are currently vacant. And knowing during the write-in, put in their names, so we have nominations from the floor for Charles McKinney and Paul Manning. You guys just stand up for just a second, just say hi, so that everyone knows who's Charles and who's Paul. I'm sure everyone does that. I'm sorry, Paul.
He fell this morning.
Oh, no.
And we probably won't have him for the first meeting. He had to have back surgery, so first thing out.
I will try to.
Anything you want to say, Paul, start by Charles, I'll point to him. Anything you want to say?
I want to say that this is getting on board right here, and there's no one on it, that care. I bought my house, I said, when last. I don't like, when certain people are going, things happen, stuff like that. And I know it's here. Don't step up and do that again. I already did, that by now, so it's a porch.
All right, it's got to
It's been resolved.
I get called all the time.
It's been resolved. It's not bad.
Thanks, Paul.
deterioration of the subdivision in the past. I'm very pleased to take a spot on the board and ask to be taken a spot on the board. I'm looking forward to us moving forward. We're through going backwards. It's time now that we move forward. And moving forward, it's going to take help from everybody in the subdivision, not just the board of directors, not just the volunteers, but everybody. Everybody has a part to play. We have things that need to be done around here. One or two people cannot do it. It's impossible to do. I look forward to working with the property owners and helping them in any way that I can. I look forward to working with the board of directors and helping them. And I will continue volunteering my services in different areas as I can physically do it. We've made a lot of headway. And one thing I plan on doing in the next year is to stay with Commissioners Court and ride their back and stay with our county commissioners and continue on with our ABATE program and see if we get some more of these dilapidated rundown homes taken care of. And the high grass and weeds, that's part of the ABATE program that I'm pushing hard for. I have researched and found amendments that put other people's county ordinances about old vacated vehicles sitting in yards and piled up. I'm going to present Commissioners Court that information, though Montgomery County at present does not have one. And I'm going to be pushing forward on that and see if we can get some of these old junk automobiles removed where we don't have to see them. And that will, in long term, improve everyone's property value and the standards of life in this neighborhood. Also, I've spent a lot of time running around and watching activity in the neighborhood. I know some sources of some bad things going on, and I plan on working with the sheriff's department on getting those corrected and taken care of. But these are a few things that I am personally working on. I take them on as personal projects. Thank you.
Thanks, Charles.
I think this, they both have kind of put off being on the board for several years, and I think it shows the vote of confidence in all of us that they have decided to do this now and are actually going to join the board now, because they've been asked to several times, they wouldn't do it. So I think it's a good thing that any time that a member wants to join and help out. So, take what you're saying. Everybody.
In talking to the county here last week, the ABATE program does not stop with homes that are vacated. It can be applied also with homeowners that are living in homes that do not maintain their properties.
All in favor of Charles Kenny joining the board? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is that right? 11.
All opposed?
Okay.
Okay, now, all in favor for Paul Manning?
All in favor of Paul Manning? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12, 13. Any opposed?
Okay. Charles and Paul, welcome to the board. We're thrilled. Thank you.
Appreciate your help.
And by the ballots,
I'm sorry.
the ballots for the treasurer and for Lori Steiner are, so we got
They will be elected.
re-elected, so we have almost, we have a whole board again.
Yep, we got a full board.
Yay.
Yep. It's been a while.
Okay. One other thing I quickly wanted to say, I forgot to bring this up. I talked with a broker, she sent me some comps. I'm really encouraged with the fact that we're seeing sales in here, and yes, we still have some foreclosures, but the foreclosures we do have, the people who are purchasing them are families. We don't have this influx of slumlord people buying up these homes that we had back in 08, 09. I'm very encouraged to see that the foreclosures and the homes that are just being put up for sale by the homeowners are going to families. And we've had several selling here for over 100,000. So that just makes us feel better that, and I talked to some of the brokers and they're just like, all of the neighborhood, same comment, if we could just get it to start cleaning up a little bit more. They said this is a gem. They're just, and we've got the Woodlands with ExxonMobil, what, 10, 15,000 people. They said there's not enough homes to support the influx of people, especially in this area of town. So it just makes us all more worthwhile to just keep maintaining our properties, and like, you know, they want these comps and happy to email it to you because they're extremely supportive of what's going on in our subdivision. So other than that, if anyone else has any comments, we can adjourn. Okay.
Yeah, has anyone driven by Lawrence Hitchcock's place? You know Lawrence Hitchcock?
Yeah, thanks, come up. Talking
I
about
haven't
cars.
been by there within a month or so, but I counted as many as 11 or 12 cars there.
Yeah.
I want to know what the hell's going on.
It looks like he's running a business or something.
Do y'all know anything about it?
Not yet.
Okay.
Talking about sending him a letter.
Is that the one right
Calling
there?
the abatement center. That's Lawrence Hitchcock is on, with Bonanza, right there.
Bonanza.
Charles knows
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, we were talking
That
about
guy's got all these cars and it's a rental.
That's one of the things Charles was just talking about.
That's a big spot off, though. You're supposed to be able to put a business out of
Right.
your home.
Doesn't have a sign there.
The RV restrictions say you can't run a business. He doesn't officially have a sign there. He's obviously got a lot of but RV restrictions, although they're very light, there are restrictions and they're not enforcing these things. It's just the manpower and just we can finally get some more people here to help.
Yeah, a couple more people helping, it'll make a difference.
Do I have to stand up?
No.
Absolute stand up again here.
Because you said I think it's here to raise hell, I'll do that. I want to congratulate you on the signs, on certain things you've done, houses that have been taken down. Two of those are within eye shot of me.
I know.
Yeah, one across the street was bad.
The other one, I never went close to prove it, but I'm pretty sure at times over the last few years it's used as a place for things that we don't even want to know about. I'm glad it's down. I'm really am. So you guys did good on that.
Well, we didn't do it.
Yeah, but you made it happen. I mean, you helped me.
It was all
Charles.
Charles, I appreciate it. You're on the board now, so I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I would like to know just as quick as you can, a couple expenses here. What do they cover? Like legal fees for $3,800 roughly, and repairs and maintenance for $4,800. I think I know what they cover, but I'd rather not guess.
Now, is that?
I'm president.
Okay.
The 4,800 on the repairs and everything is inclusive of the pool pump. I believe that,
And that was like 30 something.
3,400.
that was 3,400, that's
Which
half
is-
price outside.
Which is a good price.
It was a very good price. I got prices as high as 8,000.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a good price.
And it works really well, obviously.
It's a pump, and that's including filter. That's a new deal filter, so the pump and filter.
Okay, well, that explains that.
And then the other, I'm sorry, you asked about.
Just the legal fees, I'm curious as to why we're spending $3,800 on legal fees.
The legal fees, a portion of that was for.
Is that part of that, the lawsuit?
Portion of that is the lawsuit. The first, we are responsible for a insurance deductible. We have directors and officers coverage, so we do have a $5,000 deductible that has to be met before the insurance pays the attorney's firm. The other part of that was a couple of invoices that were left over from 2013 for both out, what you waited. But I'm sorry, 2012, my apologies. So it's just between the two, but we do have a 5,000. We haven't met it completely. We do have another
No,
invoice.
that explains.
What lawsuit?
I'm gonna let you handle that because I don't know how
It's,
we advise
it's
this.
public knowledge. It's not even.
The POA, there's a lawsuit, some homeowners who filed a lawsuit against the POA for, I don't have the whole thing here, it's a page long, it's just various things that they've listed.
I have a copy of mine, what the paper notes are, so if anybody wants to see it, I can put that up.
Yes, we're not hiding it at all.
There's several issues. They say the pool's unusable for the last
job.
Well, from 2007 on.
Yeah, from 2007 to now, most of it's putting on corn time. So,
So it falls on the current executive
Right.
to be named and all of that, so that's.
we're personally being sued, and the Lake Bonanza Company being sued. But the first $5,000 of it's coming out of y'all's pocket.
So do you have that, I'm sorry, what did you do?
After that, the insurance.
No, if you weren't done off of that, I'm sorry.
That's all I wanted to know, is sort of what the lawsuit was about.
Yeah, the general stuff like that.
Records production, how we handle responses, there's several plaintiffs, and so rather than, like I said, and there was just such a long list, the attorneys were having to send a multitude of paperwork, and they're.
There's actually four homeowners, as I recall, is that correct?
I have the notice, I have the service, the citation, so I have it with me, is the reason I'm saying, you guys are really welcome to take a look at it.
Well, the question, and I would imagine you probably need to get to the lawyer first. Check with them and see if they can post it on the website if you have it on there. Because it's our money.
It is.
You can access it on the web.
What, do you have instructions on the website where we can?
Not on our
The
website.
citation,
Can you
it's
put-
not,
can you
it's
put it
not.
on
I
our
think it's gonna
website?
be pretty
The
lengthy.
citation should be.
No, I mean, at least.
Oh, the actual-
information
sure,
to
the
go
actual part of
Where
it.
to go.
Absolutely, I can pose that to them.
Yeah, but I'd rather,
No, that's perfect.
I'm actually gotten into the names now. I don't do the paper.
It's all public information.
Sure, I can post the citation portion of it at least, because that's, you can find that within the Montgomery County Clerk's Office. So what you can
Yeah.
find there,
Or
we'll
what you
post on
could
the
do
website.
is post a tab to the public.
And connect. It's gonna take me a couple of days with the holiday, so by the end of next week,
Oh,
we'll
that's
have
great.
it all
That's
done.
great. I have two more comments.
Whatever you need.
These are not as positive. I have to know, and I don't mean this the wrong way, but years ago, you walked it out of the suburb, and you walked it back in.
Well, I was still being billed, and I never got an answer. So I would have just as soon opted out, but I ended up getting sued in 2008. So the judge ruled in their favor. So I would have just as soon opted out at the time.
So, how do you sit on the board if you're not officially part of it?
I was never officially out.
Right, he's paying dues.
Oh, okay, so you were never really
I was never
officially
being
out or
out.
opted out?
Even
Okay,
though
I
the
misunderstood.
board, because y'all were on the board at the time, y'all
Yeah.
said, fine, you're out. And as far as I saw it, I shouldn't have been billed again. Because if I was officially out, I shouldn't have got another
I
bill.
think at the time I was a bookkeeper, I wasn't on the board, I
Yeah.
remember the incident. and I
Yeah,
was just
well,
curious.
Johnny Smith and everybody said, yeah, you're out. That's
No, you
fine.
guys were just fine.
Yeah, and then they kept billing me, and then he took me to
That's
court.
fine.
So that was the gist of it.
No, that.
So it was kind of a two-faced
That in my
thing.
head, and I kind of wanted an answer. for
Yeah.
it, and that's.
I did too.
How do you plan, last question, how do you plan to open that golf course, because you lost the greens?
Well, we have, Bo is the one doing most of this, I'm just helping him. But he has a company that's going to sprig the greens. So we're going to take the top layer off, re-sprig the greens. It's the kind of the tentative plan. And they're not all lost, just portions
The
of them.
majority of them are.
Yes, you could actually see where it looks like somebody poured on some of them, on the skirt of one of them. It's like one spot, and but not, not all of them. And
Yeah, that could just be, and I'm not saying somebody did or.
I don't know. It
but
could be
you've got
over.
You've got this algae stuff that grows out there
Yeah.
that they treated for years and years, very expensive stuff that they kill it, but all golf courses have to. And if you don't treat it, then it will.
It could have been
kill
overfeeding.
everything.
It could have been over fertilization.
No,
It
it's probably that fungus that grows
Could
on
be.
golf courses like that on those greens.
Could be. I'm not, like I said, I'm not sure that's what any of it
Water
was.
spraying is not going to do it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He knows more
Just
about
let
it
you
than I
know,
do.
before you-
Now, if you know more about it, I would appreciate any input.
I do, and I'll be glad to get one of the guys in the local golf courses to take care of the greens to talk with you if you want.
Yes.
Sprigging those greens is a waste of your money.
And so,
Waste of mine.
what did you think is the best idea on that?
Most of those greens, you're gonna have to redo them completely.
Say it again?
You're gonna have to redo them
Yeah,
completely.
they have like no
if you continue to water them, they'd still be there, damaged, but they'd be.
Well, that's what we'll start doing this next week. Both of
It
them.
won't do you any good. Absolutely won't. You might have one or two out there that
May
may
come back.
come back partially, but they're gone.
Yeah.
That's part of the problem with the watering, because now
Yeah,
that
'cause we got-
we're back with the public water system.
Well, you'd be wasting your money to water it right now. The greens are gone.
Our water bill went from, because we had to deal with a water company at $200 a month. And they all of a sudden, we had like a falling out, they went from $200 a month to billing us a regular charge,
Right.
and which went tremendously high.
I personally, I mean, this is just my own personal opinion, I wouldn't do a thing to the golf course, I hate to see it fall off, but I wouldn't do a thing to it until you get the well up and running.
That, we got
But
somebody
you
coming
got
out
to get
Tuesday.
the well up and running first, and
Yeah.
then you're gonna have to price out, unfortunately, you have to price out replacing the drains to get that back running.
Yeah.
You're talking about having a grand opening and selling memberships, I doubt you're gonna get anything to join that thing.
Well, part of what you're saying is kind of what we're talking about, the well, somebody's gonna come and look at it Tuesday. And, he's talking about sprigging it, that's his kind of plan, I will see how that
How
turns
much
out.
is that costing us?
It's not, it's 40 cents a foot,
Pardon?
40 cents a foot, and that's just the greens.
So has anybody figured out how much that's gonna cost?
No, I ain't figured it out, but you're not talking about a lot. Okay, you get 40 cents a foot, the greens are what, maybe 11, 12 foot around, I don't know, I ain't figured it
Are
out.
you talking about what, 20 by 20, no, maybe 10 by 10?
Yeah, it's 100
So you're
square
talking
foot
100.
each.
So you're talking about maybe, what, $40 a green or something?
You know, you're not talking about
And
a
now
lot.
we fertilize
That's
it,
still-
intense watering, so that.
That's still $500.
Right.
Which would be, end up, because this is what this is for, the sprigging is a special grass for greens. And this is where he got it from, was some golf courses he goes to regular. The idea, it only comes out of a place near Dallas, and originally he
Is
thought,
that Zoysia?
no, it's not Zoysia, this is some, and the only way you can do this is sprigging it. He had thought he could get the seed, but you can't get the seed. It's got to be, huh?
Stiff grass.
Is that what it is? I don't know. He told me, but you know,
Well,
it's,
sprigging is usually just done for small areas for repair.
yeah.
It's not intended to replace a green.
They said there was only 2 ways to do
You got
this.
greens that are gone.
Yeah.
completely.
But this guy seems to think, he said, he supposedly spent a long time on the phone with Bo. He seems to think that they can. I don't know, like I said, I know very little about it.
See how it goes.
Yeah, but you got to drive over there to get it and everything else, and, you know, so it's, like I said,
It's high maintenance.
we'll see. It's not something that's going to be done just this week. It's going to be, you know, several, you know, it's going to be a little while. And we'll probably do part of them and probably have to close off a couple at a time and, you know, run them out and see.
Do a sample.
Yeah.
But if you want, I mean,
Yeah, we
we
can
can
call
go
it.
me later or something, I can make some calls to some local golf courses that I know pretty well and see if they've heard of it.
Yeah.
And if it, and maybe even send them some pictures of what we're up against.
All the advice we can get.
Yeah, maybe even, maybe somebody from Redwood would come over and look at it.
That would be, yeah.
We were really not competitors.
No, exactly, not at all. Any of that would be appreciated, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I hate to even spend $500 having waste.
Yeah.
You got.
Shouldn't waste any money, you know what I mean?
And I really think we're going to end up having a lot of new greens.
Which that's the idea. Yeah, I'll get with you. I'll stop by.
Thanks, Mike. Anything else?
Is there anything else, anybody?
The first question's easy. What are you charging for memberships at
It's,
the golf course?
it's gonna be back to 240, or that's as close to what we're looking for.
Is it
240.
265?
I thought they said 240, but
Golf
I thought that's what,
I think you said 245.
it's around there.
Not here,
It's in
but,
that range.
yeah.
It was, yeah, it's
Right.
gone up, and we decided to come back
We
down.
decided to charge at least when a homeowner would buy a lot, and they would have to be a homeowner, and they'd have to pay annual dues to use the facilities. We said, well, it's gotta be at least that amount more.
It's right in that range, 240, 245.
Okay, then tenants, do they have to buy a membership or? Okay. And guests, what is that
guests are still under our bylaws, which as long as you're accompanied by the homeowner.
Oh,
No, they don't like-
homeowners, or do you mean golf course
She's talking-
memberships?
You know.
She's talking about
private
renters,
golf
tenants.
course.
They can buy a membership.
No,
Yeah, I'm
yes.
talking about a
Yes,
guest.
like
Oh.
if my grandkids wanted to come out. and
Your
help.
guess as a homeowner, then there's, I mean, I don't know what.
I don't know how it's always handling that.
I think it's always been, it's accompanied by the homeowner that, you know, well, I know there was always over the years, you had to be the immediate family, then they always had this.
We have some stuff wrote up, I don't have it with me, that has all that in it. I can bring it to you.
I mean,
and
if
we
your third
can-
cousin and 20 people showed up, I don't know if that would quite fly. But I mean, that's kind of been the bylaws, is that you had to be accompanied by whoever owned the
Well, my
property.
question is I can't do that.
Right.
So,
Oh, but they were visiting you, they wanted to go out and golf.
and I can't accompany.
No, obviously.
So what do we do?
That's something for the board, that would
Well,
probably be
that's
something
address
where
that,
we have,
yeah.
yeah, that's a good question for our meeting that next.
Yeah, we're gonna have to
Because
put
we
that on
could
the
do like a
agenda.
lanyard or something, because we had that for the pool. You know, when you were a homeowner, if you wanted to have, you know, your family, they had a photo of the lanyard or something, that could maybe go for all the amenities, and we could say you're,
It would be nice if we could get to the point, that's like apartments and stuff, they have like cars where you get food. You know what I mean? And, I mean, because they're adults, they don't have to have somebody over the top of them all the time. I wish that we could do that. I don't know if we ever can, but it would be nice that you could be we had a double,
You don't have to get real expensive with it. I mean, I got a lamination machine.
We have one.
Oh, yeah, we have all,
We have all this stuff.
that's what we
Yeah.
did for the pool, and actually, at the time that we did, that I created the pool template, the pool membership ID template, there's one created for the golf course
I
as
think
well.
that would be a good idea, I mean,
So-
we could just, if
We
we've
have
got
cars
these.
also to the pool and any of the amenities.
Right.
I physically cannot.
Right, I
You know,
understand.
getting out here was,
Right.
so, you know, and the fact that I physically can't do it brings up the situation that, you know, I personally think that we should all be adults and not have to have me take my little hand here and leave the bed.
Right.
Well, it's just, that it's been in the bylaws, but I'm gonna put it on the next agenda and we'll address it. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, I mean, I would rather see that everywhere, that everything's being used. And it's by, you know, homeowners and then their families are coming out and they're enjoying all the amenities. You know, I love it when I see the kids going down on their bikes with fishing poles. I'm like, I feel like that's something out of the 50s when I see that.
I have some, triggered something. One of the things that they used to do here that really helped was they did those fishing tournaments for the kids. That would be something for someone, whoever would be handling something like that, to redo because the kids just love it.
Right. I'm just afraid right now, the docks aren't even close to the water
Yeah.
right now.
It's-
We have a bigger issue out here right now, or
We
not a
have
bigger
bar.
issue, but a more pressing issue that we've had sightings of an alligator in the lake. So we do have an alligator in the lake, so I've researched what it's gonna take. 'Cause
I don't know about that. I haven't seen an alligator.
We had 2 different residents that said so.
They say that, but I ain't never seen no
Well,
alligator.
the whole point is that with those sightings, whether they're
Yes.
valid or
Oh,
otherwise.
you have gar too, your name.
We have
Yeah, we
huge
do
gar.
have gar out there.
But with the alligator situation,
One
it's
too
a
many
big issue,
beers.
so we're trying to protect the parks and all that. They've got licensed people that can call to handle that because it's illegal to shoot them and such, so.
Well, they're not
And it needs to be repaired.
alligator or eating it.
And that's a big problem that we're facing. I mean, there are skeletons and bones everywhere where it's drying up and the fish are getting stranded.
Yeah.
They're kind of more or less beached. We lost huge catfish. We had some of the carp, the grass eating carp in there. So it's a great idea, and maybe, you know, we could do that in conjunction with like one of our, excuse me, 4th of July or something like that.
Winter Lakes Streets,
Yeah, Winter Lakes and a little bit
There's
better shape.
gotta be other things like that that can be done that involve the.
Oh,
kids
absolutely.
and homeowners.
Yeah, last year we did, we pretty much settled on the annual 4th of July is going to be bigger every year. Because everybody, the kids, Lori made arrangements, everybody had airplanes and small beach balls and all the contests and everything that are geared towards the kids, not necessarily adults and such. So it's slow, but it's moving.
Yeah, we have item contests, watermelons, food
that's
contests,
right.
hay golf, all of it. So,
Yeah, we recommended a swimming event to find Natalie.
We'll nominate
Last year,
you.
Yeah.
we'll go ahead and form a
Go ahead.
committee and.
And you can be
Use the
first.
kids, right?
Live on this road now.
Use the kids.
Get the
And it's dry, so they can just get
That depends on
plain
what
view.
kind of mood you're in that day.
Does anybody know how many memberships should be on the golf course to try and make it pay for itself?
At this point, no, because the costs have all been discontinued over there, and it's all volunteer effort. So once the caretaker's position, the goal of the caretaker's position has been put off because of other, financial issues, they have more pressing, higher priorities. But the caretaker's position will be a large part of the expense over there, as well as whether or not we can feasibly add more, replace the equipment, new equipment, or we can actually repair what's the better route to take right now. So that's all going to have to come up before the end of the year, because we're going forward, the goal is to have a budget and prioritization. But we won't know until we have some idea of what the fixed cost will be.
Yeah, you have to realize what we're sitting on. We may look poor, but we are land rich. I mean, this subdivision has got acreage that I didn't even know we had behind the tennis court and all the way apart, right? I mean, the horse stables, airstrip, golf course. You gotta add up all that land and know what it's going for in this area. If we could just maintain it and keep our values, so you have to understand what we have here. It's just unbelievable, because you can just see how they're packing people in these subdivisions, and we can look around and have this. But problem is the maintenance. It's a lot.
Yeah,
It's
take care of it.
overwhelming, and like I said, we've got 1960 generation things that are just failing, and it hasn't been applied. And we've got to get the roofs taken care of so we can keep our insurance policy, and, just make sure the infrastructure stays so that we've got pride in what we have.
Just the insurance policy alone is close to $12,000 a year.
Yeah, we spend about $1,000 a month, but that's for everything.
Has it been reviewed, what,
What?
Yes.
the insurance policy?
We went out for bid last year, and there's not that many that do homeowners. I mean, we're them shops that every year, and they send us the bids, and we always take them down to go and buy, but they're just not all these carriers want to handle HOAs in them.
I guess I'm not done with the question yet. How do you raise homeowners fees? It seems to me like we got too much to take care of. We either need to get rid of some of it, which I don't think anybody's really.
Well, we did put that to vote on the annual election last year, and everyone voted that the golf course remain as a golf course. So in order to do that, we had to restructure completely, which is why we did away with public services and brought volunteer effort in. At the end of the year, here we are with the rings having to be, redone and all kinds of other stuff. The equipment's worn out.
Yeah.
We're not gonna do that. We're not
We
gonna
have to
do
address
that.
the quota.
So my point is, you got two choices. You can get rid of some of the.
We need to raise the dues, is
Or
what
raise
it's
the
saying.
dues. So how do you go about raising?
We can do 2 assessments a year too, and we're fixing to have to do an assessment.
We can do an assessment for a capital budget item.
Right.
As far as selling land, it's 2/3 vote of all of them.
All, and which is
All of
really
them.
hard.
You have to get everyone in the subdivision.
Not just something, everybody, if they live in California or.
Is that retroactive? Because I know you sold something, not you.
Well, not us.
Previous
boards.
board has sold
That's a
lots to
sticky
the
situation.
water board.
Yeah,
I know.
and there's other lots out there that's been sold by the board.
Within the last, since 2012?
Yeah.
You talking about property that's been given to the board?
Yeah. Smith.
Prior to 2012.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
prior to.
the Lake
I'm not
Bonanza
talking to you
took,
guys.
Yeah.
Lake Bonanza took
Oh.
lots back.
Yeah, that's what it's
Those-
talking about.
No, I'm talking about common areas, like
Yeah.
the amenities,
Yeah.
because that's in our.
So are you just ignoring that for now? You just,
Well,
You mean the sale of the lots? We just stepped through, Karen had all of the lots that we own that were turned back over to the LBPOA.
yeah.
And actually, we
Yeah, is that just something that's done?
Well,
Nothing you can do about it because it's
I
already
think
sold?
because that's not common area, I would want to
No,
verify
no.
the deed restrictions. If you talk about the common area
Yeah,
versus
it's
the
been
lots.
sold. No, he's talking about the common area, it's already been sold, correct?
Right.
Are we just gonna let that go and do nothing about it? Or are we gonna try to?
Or are you looking at, I don't care either way.
I think we should try to get
The
it
one
back,
specific,
but I don't
you're talking about the area in the stables or the pasture, correct? Is that
Because
it?
the problem is if you get, like, say, the 2 lots in the horse stables back, you gotta get the water board the money back.
You know,
Well, that was $5,000.
You don't?
out of this illegal sale to start with.
Really?
Well, if they don't, if you come in with unclean hands into court, like they would, because they, you know, they knew it was illegal, which Johnny Smith was on that board,
Yeah.
then maybe not. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he did anything illegal. I'm just saying if he knew that was the case, then no.
I was just curious.
No, we've
My
looked,
point
we've spent a
was,
lot.
my point is, you gotta raise your revenue.
Right,
Get more people to pay,
right.
go through all that, which I know the board's been doing that for years, or have the people who want to pay more.
And that, on
That's
that
what we'll have
note,
to do.
the more people that are paying, we actually have, and I don't have percentage-wise, it's the reason I did a year-to-year comparison, because we do have an increase.
Yep.
We have several homes that were foreclosed on, that unfortunately, like, where we stand, just so everybody knows, when the financial institution, and the Texas state law is clear on it, when the financial institution forecloses on the property, it's a zero balance as of that date. When there is a foreclosure deed in hand, it's zeroed out. However, where HUD is concerned, and there's nothing underhanded that we're doing, but unless they come to us with a foreclosure deed and they ask us to zero it out, we're not zeroing it out. They're liable until such point as they notify us. So we've received over $4,000, about 4,000 with 2 or 3 different properties. I'm gonna have to say about $3,000 that were foreclosed properties that went through HUD that we were paid for, that legally, you know, obviously if they brought it to our attention, we wouldn't have. And the figure is a little bit higher, but I don't have it here, so I can't, you know, just willingly say. However,
Money we were entitled to, we just didn't get at the time.
there are a lot of those properties happen, but those homes, as Karen was saying, these aren't being bought up by investors who are then turning around and these are families that are moving in. So we're getting that right off the bat, we're getting them buying in, and previous homeowners, you know, who sold their home, have a fair over on Sinclair who said, she sent an email, this is great, you guys have been so responsive and everything looks so great and yada yada. She encouraged her people, the people that purchased the home from her, to get signed on immediately, which they did. So unfortunately, I don't see it here, but the point is that there's a better buy-in because the attitude's changed. Then with a combination story, this is the second year we've done our 4th of July, and each time we're getting people that come forward almost immediately wanting to get some balances. Also, just so everybody knows, we did serve 10 properties that were severely delinquent. It was some of the largest properties that have been delinquent for quite some time. We bypassed a certification, which is required by certified mail, which is required by law, and went to a process server. And they were physically processed, served, so that we have that, we kind of leapfrog through, so that the next step is to go to court, which Rodney and I have volunteered our time to be able to go forward into the JP's court to get this filed on. We also have another piece of property that the Bill Fowler had advised us that we've already, all of those processes have been taken care of. It's now time to file to foreclose on the property and bring that into the LBQA. So there's a lot of other things that are going on with those delinquencies. There are 22 accounts that were noted. 10 were process served. The other 12 are going, they have letters that they'll be receiving, certified letters. We go through that other part of the process so that we can focus on the bigger ones right off the bat.
We got somebody building a new home here, he's a custom builder, and he's interested in some of the properties that we have too. So he may buy, several lots that we have.
As soon as the properties are going to be posted, we've kind of, with all good intentions and a good list of things to go forward and get accomplished, the pool pump and the lake issue and the lawsuit and, the amount of time and effort to get all of the records together, which is why the office is in the shape that it's in right now, because the records were all in never filed appropriately, they're not filed according to home, to individual property owners, they're filed by meetings, or they're filed by, month, or they're filed by year, so it's very difficult. We're still in the process of providing the attorney's office, which is one of the largest in the nation, FYI, handling this out of Houston.
Oh, yeah,
That's
they're-
all they do.
We got offices all over
We've,
the country.
we're now months into trying to get documentation together, scanned, and burned to a CD so that we can get that over to them and get that taken care of. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on behind the scenes that you guys may not see, but the business structure is being fixed.
Who owns the lands where the houses are not now?
The county will now own the lands.
No, I thought it's still the homeowner, there's a lien.
What happens
And then
is,
they'll get foreclosed
Yeah.
out eventually.
They're gonna-
So there's a lien
They'll
for that
lien that
cost
lot.
against that
There was a
lot.
lot on Pinehurst that they knocked down a house after Ike. And then it went to a tax foreclosure sale in December, and I don't think that people knew what they were buying. I think they thought they were buying a house next door. The house, they said the house was there on the tax, when you looked on the appraisal district, it said there was a house there, and there wasn't.
Yeah.
They bought it for $8,800 at the tax sale, and there was a lien on that lot for taking that house down. And it's- So now they bought an empty single lot for $8,500.
the lien,
Plus the lien.
Right, yeah.
well, the lien
And I was
itself,
like, whoa, okay. We sent them their transfer fee and said, welcome to the neighborhood.
the lien itself, what the county gauges is anywhere from
Yeah, they
$18,000 to $22,000. So if you can imagine a single or maybe a double lot, or in the case of I think over there, it's 3 lots, with a lien against it for, upwards of $18,000.
And the lots aren't working.
It will eventually-
Hopefully they will be one day.
They'll be
Yeah.
foreclosed.
Eventually, it will be county owned, and then they go to
I mean,
the tax
who's gonna pay the
sale.
taxes on that?
The constable sale, I think it's, the constable sale county for us.
I said, we had a house sale in here for $113,000.
Dude,
Where? On. Let's see, that's the road going out.
St. Clair,
Yeah.
that was Heather Pierce's house.
Yeah, that's a newer house, was listed for 112, and went for 113.
The one that's the principal, that was sold for.
Year built 2000, so it was a newer home, but I mean,
That one that's on sale on Stinson, I think in blue, they just went up, so they're asking
Yeah.
$73,000.
And
it's
by
a
the way,
one bedroom.
Yeah, it's a 1-bedroom, and she says she's got an offer for 68 on it.
Does,
Yeah.
Wow.
does
One
anyone know
bedroom.
that the older couple that live there and their daughter, is it Debbie Senior, lives next door on Stinson? She used to serve her before, and it was her parents that lived there. I just wasn't sure if anyone knew. because-
I'm just saying, it'll be courage to start seeing that, there's one that's listed for 98, going for 85.
And you have a new home going up right there. I mean, anytime somebody's coming in and clearing the woods and they're laying the foundation and putting all that kind of money into it, they're building.
good
So
time.
it was a real big boom for us because, unfortunately, a lot of the feedback that we get in all the board meetings is always negative. We don't get a lot of positive. So to see that, to get the emails through the website from Heather Fair and some other neighbors who were like, great job and this, that, and everything on top of it, there's house being built around the corner. That's a big deal. It's a big milestone for us.
We have a really good website. I'm sure you'll hunt it down.
That's for everybody.
Well, everybody should join the website, that's for sure.
What I wanted to know, when the lake dries up, is there any,
Assumption of the property that's exposed.
no, what I want to know is there any spraying for weeds
No.
and whatnot?
You probably should consider that. I mean, when the lake is down like that, it's a good time to get out there and dig up weeds and get.
Oh, I know, I've talked
And
to
put
Travis
chemicals
Portland,
down to kill
he
it.
said, there's a machine that, I haven't wondered what it costs, they said, that there's a machine that they go through, they scrape it, they get all the silt out, they can go up and over the dam and just.
Like
But here's-
dredging, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
What
it's-
you're talking about? You talking about dredging the lake?
No, he's wanting to
He
know
wants
if
a
we're
spring.
going
I don't think this is not fitted by any kind of a spring.
Spray.
I think he's
Spray.
just talking about, we've had years of problems with, we
Right.
spent like $6 grand to
now's the time you're getting on,
So-
and fix the bulkhead.
Is that what you're talking about, spraying the weeds?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Spray them, dig them out, rent something that, you know,
Just go in there and
use a
dig 'em.
backhoe. Just
I like to go and just dig everything out.
Maybe a track hoe and go in and pull them all out.
Get a couple dumpsters and, you know, do it that way.
Maybe build them all up and burn them.
Something. I mean, you have to have homeowners approval, you know, to some extent, because you're gonna be back there in their backyard. But I don't think they would be opposed to it because you're gonna improve the lake.
Right.
The problem is getting that equipment in there. I think that the only effective way to do it is going to be backfill or scraping it or digging it out, which we need to do anyway, because as it's dry, all of that pressure and all the runoff and everything, we come up. If you take a boat over the lake over
We
here.
can walk
back
across
over,
the lake.
Yeah, you know, you're not
So now's
talking.
the time to do that, sort of like you, that's an excellent choice. Now's the time to get rid of it.
Well, it's low. That's what I said in 2011,
Yeah.
when it was really low. It's time
When
to
it
do
comes
it now.
back up, those weeds take over the lake, there'll be more snow.
Well, the chemicals that we bought last year are not absorbed through the root system, they're absorbed through the actual foliage. So we did treat quite a few of them, which came back. I mean, obviously it's gonna come back. That stuff lives underground, even if it's dried up there, it's gonna live for another 3 years. They can, you know, come back up. So then, do we put money towards doing that just for purposes? Or do we go forward with a more formal plan for the entire lake?
I think you should do
You
the
know,
whole lake.
It has to be done now, it has to be prepared, yes.
Well, just see what it costs to
Really
really get a track
money
hoe.
for it.
Yeah. And that's a big
Rent a
issue.
track hoe for maybe 2 weeks. I would think it'd be more than
We've got
1,500.
culverts that are full that have to be dug out by the county, and they say that we have to get the homeowner's approval, so we keep hitting our little obstacles.
I contacted you.
Which is a good communication, but a good communication to everyone here. The county is stating that in order for the ditches to be clear for one property, you have to, as an individual homeowner, contact the county to be able to have your ditches graded, which is our biggest issue, which to me it's ridiculous, because as I've complained, because Charles had looked into it as well, what I complained about is my house is on the low end, so if I'm calling, and my ditches are graded, but my neighbors decided to fill their ditches in because their home is flooding up in the front. So it makes no sense that the people across the street are impacting how that flow is, you know, so graded ditches or not, it's just gonna gather there, and then I'm totally inundated. I've lost 4 inches to my yard in the course of since I bought it, at a minimum. I have to have all of the pine trees in my front yard completely cut down and removed, which the option was to level it back up and pay a ton to have it all brought back in, or remove the trees. We have to remove all the trees because all of the roots are exposed. Now that the roots are exposed, the trees are dying. They're indefinite, they're stressed. And so it's gonna cost me about $1,200 to remove all of that because the ditches are not graded and the water is not properly moved away through. And it would be great because it benefits the lake as well if we were collecting that, which was Karen's issue of getting in a drainage the county will put in for us, where it's collecting and it's being returned to the lake, so we're not just
Well,
relying on.
that's handy, I mean, it comes across the street and goes into the driveway.
Like you
Every
can
time
see-
it rains.
Drive through the neighborhood and you can see every area that completely washes because the road is covered with clay and sand, rock, pebble, and everything. So the entire neighborhood should be graded. And Rodney's dealing with them now and trying to get an okay to do all of it without the individual.
I think they're gonna end up doing the whole neighborhood. They told me they will. We'll see. You know,
I think it would
them
support
saying
them.
it and them doing it.
So-
Why are they having to get permission from the
It's
homeowner?
It makes no
ridiculous.
sense because they own it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what the point is if everybody can make a
Because a
phone
lot
call.
of the neighbors, a lot of them don't have culverts.
Paul?
Want everybody to know, through here, my neighbor across the street, and he's just a shut-in. He said his insurance company, while he was working out, took pictures around his house, sent him a letter and called him saying that we, Bonanza, are now in a high risk of fire or something.
Yeah.
He told him, look up front, he was trying to remove the officers around his house, trying to get them down, and get it clear, and go right.
My insurance company dropped us as well. We had to shop a new policy.
For high risk fire.
Really?
High risk fire, the damage from the trees, but it's an excuse to drop the homes because of the dead trees that are gonna fall on your property, and then they're gonna be liable because nobody contacts anyone. I wrote letters to my neighbors and provided it to my insurance agent last year, but I've lost my insurance policy. It's gonna cost us almost twice to insure the property, what we're currently paying, because I'm also in a flood zone, because I'm on the cusp of the edge of the flood zone. I had FEMA wrote a letter stating that we were not, but I have to go through the entire process or have an engineer come out and grade everything to give a certificate, a certification that we're outside of that flood zone in order for my insurance to cover all of that. So we're paying
House next to me's on it, and then they said my house wasn't on it.
right.
FEMA said my house wasn't on it, but the house next to me is. So,
The insurance companies are getting really sensitive out there, so.
yeah. Charles?
Yeah, I'll bring up something interesting on that. A number of years back, and a tree fell on my pickup and belonged to someone else. Went through the insurance company. The insurance company said, notify the people that own the tree. That tree was dead, wasn't it? And I said, yes, it was. They're alive. Said, if the tree was alive, it's an act of nature.
Right.
An act of God. It can't be anything done about that. Said, but since the tree was dead, it is the property owner's liability for any damage that tree will cause. You notify your insurance company, and they will go ahead and pay the claim. But then they file a lawsuit against the property owner to recover their money and your deductible. So you might make your neighbors aware. If
Oh,
that's a
yeah,
dead
if you see
tree,
that tree next door to you, let them know.
You gotta notify them.
you need to make them aware. And if need be, send a certified letter. This tree on your property is endangering my property, and it is your liability to get it removed before it does. Otherwise, you will be talking to the insurance company. I just went through this with my next door neighbor, last year, wasn't it? Yeah, this year. And he finally got off his butt when it fell and broke my fence. He got off his butt, took the tree down, and then he got up there and said, I better fix the man's fence, because I told him, I said, I'll see you in front of the 20 spikes here for pretty shortly. And he didn't hear that, and he got over the next day and fixed it all, it took the tree store.
You're right. That's why we had to just spend some money, because we had trees that we were either notified about or we knew was threatening their property. We had.
That is state law. If
Right.
that tree is dead and your neighbor.
And there's a lot. If you look up, you're gonna go, whoa, there's some big ones. There's some big ones.
In answer to just the spraying issue that you brought up, we have the chemicals available. If you would like, we can provide the chemicals pre-mixed as we did before. And did you ever come to Ebony?
First time, yes.
Okay. We can make the chemicals to spray the weeds behind your house available for you.
Do you want to spray them? Do you have any behind your house, Candy?
Do what
Do you have any weeds behind your house? If you want us, to come get the chemicals, you can spray them. Do you have that many behind your house?
Or on the lake behind your house where it's dried up, to spray for the weeds.
I think you're just talking about the leakage in, right?
No,
These
he's
are,
talking
well, that
about
was a
weeds.
subject a while ago.
Yeah. We have the chemicals to spray the lake.
We're good, right?
Huh?
No.
Do you want someone to spray the lake? Do you want the chemicals to spray the lake behind your house?
Because I've gone to Home Depot.
No, those don't work. Yeah. You gotta buy don't buy Roundup or anything, because that's a pesticide that gets into the water, so. We have a pesticide that's approved for fish and everything that's safe. So if you have weeds, we can spray them behind your house. Okay. Because if you buy it at Home Depot, there's things that says do not put it in your water system, and that goes leaches down into the lake.
Yeah.
So
It's only one type of chemical that you can use back there. So don't buy anything. We have it.
we have it. Let me know. Okay?
And that goes for anyone that's on the lake. If it's dry enough out there and you guys want to help out and get everything controlled, we have this stuff and we can pre-mix it, pre-dilute it if you have a hand sprayer or something, because there are a lot of areas that we just don't have. It's volunteerism. It's the time to do it. We certainly can hire someone to come in and do it. That doesn't make any sense. We did it last year 2 or 3 times, my husband and I, but he's working, so it's not just one. So if anybody wants the chemicals, we can certainly dole them out and for everybody to spray or just put them on a schedule note and, you know, when we have time. I'm here to tell you. Just here to tell you.
Spray it if you see it.
Spray it.
Spray those weeds
Spray,
out.
spray the alligators, that's it.
The gar, they've been fishing it. I have instructed everyone, it is a catch and release on the lake. However, for anyone that pulls gar out of the lake, they can leave them on the bank. Do not return them to the lake because they are now overproduced to such a degree that we have a person. Yeah.
They had two.
They're eating all the fish. They've gotten large enough that we don't, our fish stock now, we're limited on space and nutrients. Now we're losing them faster because of what's left out there that, you know, surviving.
Hey, do we still have the 20-gallon mixing thing?
The problem is getting it into a boat to use to move around because Howard Galloway gave us his little boat to use, but the lake is so low and the access is now so restricted, you can't really do it from the water. So it's going to have to be from the land when everybody's still there. Excuse me.
Get a sign and put up where it's a vacation release, because I don't know how many times we called the sheriff's department last year, this year, people pulled up their cars with casting nets, I do not take pictures of them with casting net, and take bait out of the bait fish. Oh my God.
Several of the parks have signs still.
That's part of our deal this year. We're gonna get flash forward. We want to do some nicer ones because those are little hand stenciled ones. We're gonna do one here where people go find the pool, and we want to do some that do say, you know, private lake, catch and release only, no motors. And you won't make them big and crazy, but it's something that'll look a little bit nicer.
I mean, here, you know, numerous times I got a phone call, you need to get over here because somebody casting it and they're taking crap out, they're taking little fishes out of the water.
And
They sit
that's
there
the
and
little
watch
guys.
and subjects out, put them in the car and drive off.
On that note, one thing Charles did bring up in that thought we need to get amended the lunch program started. And for several already, 2.5 last week, we sitting in this room. And that's one thing we can put on the agenda. We will have people on the walk up. Yeah, put it out there.
We gotta be real careful with that. We'll talk about that some other time.
They're dumping stuff in our lake too. Somebody came and had a great big tote that they brought out of their car and they dumped it in the lake and we ran after them and they kept going. So you don't know what the heck's in our lake now.
Bodies, it's a body tub.
No, the body would have floated on. Or been stuck in the dirt.
I just wanted to, I did want to revisit, Mike brought up an issue of how, and I don't know if it was answered directly, but the assessments, not necessarily the assessments, but the dues themselves, and how we up, you know, the dues and change them and modify them, because we obviously do have more overhead that we're not able to keep up with. Over the past several years, that's not been the case because things were able to be juggled from one place to another. But just like Rodney stated with the roofs, we had a quote for all 3 of the roofs for these buildings because obviously they were put on in a similar time frame or otherwise, and it's been many, many years since they've been addressed. They all need to be done. We don't have the monies. We need better equipment for the golf course to be able to keep it up, as well as all of the common areas and, you know, lawnmowers, tractors, the tractor equipment. It's all breaking down. It's been patched, repaired, you know, spit on, duct tape, and there's just nothing else that can be done to prolong it. So now we have another $15,000 to $20,000 worth of equipment that needs to be replaced. Where are those monies going to come from? You know, the board has existed, and last year it was kind of the last-ditch effort to save the business from going under financially. And the way that we did it was to bring in the volunteer services and get rid of anything that was not the highest priority. And we did it, and we floated from one year to the next with the intent that we roll over from this year what we were able to save into next year and start slowly bringing those vendors and those services back in. We can't do that. That's no longer a projected course of action because we don't have the monies. It's not going to be enough. If we pinch pennies for the next 5 years, we might be able to put enough away to where we can buy the equipment, replace the roofs, and just take care of the general rot. The 4x4s that are holding up the extended air covered area, they're rotted. on your way out, take a look. There are just things that are going on that we have been repairing ourselves to try to keep from losing altogether. And it's just not, we're not going to be able to tread water like this anymore. We're going under. So the assessments have to be made, which is the board's decision to go out and send just a one-time assessment based on a capital budget issue. Yeah,
And you can do that at any meeting.
we can do that at any meeting. However, because we're
It's
representing,
in the bylaws, I think there's just, it's gonna not.
I just wanted to make
you're
sure,
limited to
I
two.
wanted to make sure you didn't have to do that at annual meeting. If you have to do it at annual meeting, you
Right.
better do it today.
But the reality is that's going to be a temporary patch. I mean, unless we come up with some god-awful number that most people cannot afford, then we're back in the same boat next year. It's a temporary patch. The one thing is that's going to happen in order for us to continue to maintain everything, to add those services back in, open the golf course back up like everyone wants, and maintain it appropriately, to keep the lake from ever getting back into this shape after we dig out of it, to keep these buildings from falling down and rotting out, we have to go up. We absolutely have to have an increase in our dues. Whether it's $5 per household or $10 or otherwise, even still, you're talking about pinching pennies so tightly that they're screaming for the next 5 years, even with an increase. And the last thing that anybody wants, whether it's sitting on the board on this side or in the audience on the other side or any of the previous boards, is to be responsible for the maximum number of assessments every year, because that just doesn't look right. It looks like we're trying to take advantage, or we're just, someone's going to say that we're abusing our power, etc. The bottom line is that we all have to understand and come together that the maximum of $240 per one household, property owner, whatever, property owner site, it's not going to cut it. I mean, if you do a comparison, everybody that I talk to throughout Houston, Huntsville, Willis, you name anyone that's in the neighborhood, I ask them, what do you pay every year?
Oh.
And what are your amenities? $500 a year per household. Granted, you're talking about 3 times the number of homes in the subdivision, and the most they provide are sidewalks and streetlights. We have an issue where we've also added 10 streetlights to the mix because that was the maximum that we could afford. But we have kids that are now congregating in certain spots as designated by the bus transportation with the district, and they're sitting out at 6 o'clock in the morning in pitch black with no streetlights.
You got a lot of new street signs and stop signs.
There are a lot.
Noticed that. Got a lot of that added.
I'll give you my feedback on what Angel said, or whatever it's worth, just one person.
I think it's worth a lot coming from that side of the room, number
But
one.
I personally, there's 2 things. I'd want to make sure in the announcement of a potential raise in the dues,
Right.
that you made every effort to try to get everybody that hasn't paid.
Right.
Because back when I was doing it, it was like 50% of the people weren't paying a dime.
Well, we're down dramatically.
So communicate that, because that's a positive. Communicate that when you do go up. Say we've taken it from X amount to X amount.
Right.
And we still are in this position. And the next thing is, if you put forth in your announcement a plan of what you're going to do.
Right.
I don't think there's too many people that are going to oppose it. I wouldn't oppose it. I'll pay extra if you take care of the subdivision. It chews me up to not be able to walk out my back door and go play golf. I didn't do it that much because I play all over the place, but I enjoy having it there. My grandkids, they're at an age where they'd like to go out there and play. I can't even take them out. I'll pay more to get that up and running. And I think everybody would pay if the money would go to improve our subdivision.
Right. Now, but in answer to your question, in order to go up on the assessments and everything, it would be the homeowners, or the property owners that would go that way. The thing
So
is,
how do you get that done?
well, the thing is that the law changed, and basically what the law states is that because of the amount of apathy of the number of people that don't want to participate in a property owners meeting or a homeowners association, then it is a vote of those members who are in attendance. So we need to pose that to the
We got
and clarify. we would have to,
We have to notify everybody that we're gonna do it first.
yeah. It needs to be in
I think that
everyone's
would be your
hands.
priority.
Get it notified by mail.
Either that, or start getting rid of some of these amenities out here, because you can't take care of them.
No, we put it up. Well, we have a lot.
The tennis courts, why do you have it?
No, well, that would be up to
When
the
did
owner.
anybody play tennis out there? I mean, I don't, years and years ago maybe, but it
But I have
just
two
sits
tennis
there.
players, you know, who are gonna be trying out this year, so we have
I
tried,
understand, so
but we also have it on.
then you've got to raise the revenue.
But we've had, well, you know, the thing is that we've also had, that's what we're trying to do, is take all of these problems, put them together, overlap them, you know, twist them around side by side and back and forward to see where we can, you know, where we can do a minor fix or we can put a little bit of money and have a bigger impact. So that's where we've been jumping for a year
I
now.
believe it was last year that they were still paying bills from 2011 in March.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, it was from November and December and March. So if they're not gonna do that this year, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I heard your comment is interesting, but in a corporate world, that's not what we would do. We look at a 3 or 5 year budget.
This is stuff needs to be decided in a monthly meeting, not in an annual meeting.
Well,
We need to put it on.
I appreciate that, but.
It's not, it's a communication.
So my point is a 3 year
Mike's
budget, 5 year
finishing.
budget,
Uh,
and then you determine how much that's gonna all cost to get it where you want it to be. That tells you how much you have to go up on your duty.
And that's what we attempted to do last year. We attempted to do that and have a budget meeting and a proposed budget, but there was so much going on and we were met with so much flack about it. You know, in corporation, from a business perspective, no business out there runs from year to year. There's no such thing. So, but at that time, we were also in the position of having chosen a new CPA and we're in the process of selecting a new CPA, who could then be the one to sit down and do some of our forecasting for us. So, we're actually dealing with first payment.
Mike can't normally make our Saturday meetings, he works in town. I don't think we've seen you since last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the website is the place where the meetings will be posted. It's our best way of communicating because anybody can access from anywhere.
And you can see the whole meeting.
Yeah.
Recorded.
It's video, so if you want to
I've
watch
been
it.
on there.
So we had some questions back there, I didn't want to.
Just like I said, before I go, this is no order of business, it needs to be discussed in a monthly meeting and not an annual meeting. This is not a regular business meeting, this is going over our end of the year, and we need to leave it at that. Board members need to hold it to that irregardless.
But we did, and that's what the projected budget is to be dealt with at the annual meeting.
Okay, that's.
So that was the notification of that. So, we're gonna have the meetings posted, we'll call a special meeting if you guys are in agreement that at least to hear it out and we can get all the documentation and everything together. The website's gonna be the best way to communicate it.
I just want to ask you, you will mail as well as put it on the website.
We can't afford to mail for, not
Because
just
so many
meetings.
people do not have access or don't know or whatever.
I think if we were to do a special meeting regarding an assessment, we
We
were going to have to
probably
do
will,
that. We will have to do
Yeah. Oh,
that.
special
Newsletter
meeting.
comes
Yeah,
out.
that
That's
will
what
be
I'm
a mail
talking
out.
about, not just the everyday.
Oh, no, that will be a
Okay.
mail out.
Well, for any of the other meetings, they're gonna be right.
Yeah, on regular meetings, it won't be a special meeting.
And they're also posted up front here.
That would be a special meeting anyway, because that would be another homeowner.
The other thing that we did, that would save us a lot of money, that we could do this time around too, to accomplish, or at least over the course of the next year, is pay some of the neighborhood kids to go door to door for the actual homeowners, and then mail to anyone that's listed as being home property owners that are listed outside of the area. Because we had more statements, we actually, from a communications perspective over the last year, sent more statements than have been sent within the last 5 years. We sent more notices of a statement went out with the 4th of July notification, a statement went out with the pool opening, a statement went out, with the delinquencies and everything, and just the normal statements. So we're trying to do it on a more frequent basis so everyone can, and then include some updates and such. But I think that there might be a better way within the neighborhood other than, because it costs us so much. It just costs us so much, and even before the meeting, funds have just been so low.
Anybody else?
Anybody else have more questions? I'm sorry.
No.
New business. I'd like to see the sergeant at arms appointed to the board.
A what?
Keep control-
Sergeant of arms?
Sergeant of arms, keep control of the meeting.
Right.
It should go on a whole lot smoother order of action without letting any speeches. I think we're talking about it.
Well, we start doing a time, setting a timer to set time.
Well, I think this one, well, anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, one final say.
Sure.
I find the comments from these cat back here, the old school of the way that the board used to run, and I hope you don't bring it back that way. I enjoyed today's meeting for the first time in several years.
Thank
And
you.
that's not really well, but can I also just give you the other side of that nickel? The other side of that nickel is the one that the other homeowners, and we've dealt with really smoothly running meetings over the course of the last 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But it's because of the exit of a bunch of negativity. So when you have that negative, naysaying, all they want to do is complain, there has to be some kind of a balance between the two, and that's what they're wanting to have to it. But it will be balanced. But it will be better balanced. And the whole point of this, at least from my perspective when I came on, is communication. Because we didn't have, I never had that from the other side, so that was what we were bringing, what I brought to the table.
But I wasn't being hostile.
No, absolutely not. You would absolutely
I
not.
was just trying to make a comment.
Absolutely.
And you're more than welcome to
And I was
wait.
shut down,
No, you
or attempted to be shut down.
No, you
Don't bring that back.
No, no.
and you're a homeowner.
We've got
That's
this
what we're
lot
here
of
for.
personalities, we like that though.
Everybody has a
As
right.
long as it's like, goes along.
And we appreciate you coming.
All right, guys, well, thank
Anybody
you.
else? Nobody? Everybody?
Hey. So we're gonna adjourn at 4:20. Thank you so much.
It's gotta be a record.
Well, the last couple of meetings have been records. And we actually come to, well, that's true. That's what I mean.
Oh, and our next board meeting, yes.
Well, he started here, and here.
Because then it's, you know, you've got, let's say, if any time of the year, you have guys who are right in their dollars. Yeah, it's not worth it. And I think it makes better sense to go right now, property specific, and that way it's tracked, traces I was seeing for them, and then everybody can enter one property. I cannot read. I'm gonna go, because what I'd like to do, we have a lot of, see, that's it, I'd like to get it accomplished, that we get a lot.
Nope, I'll do my best.
And that means I go in there, and look at it, I go out to the tax website, I can see how it's approved there. And then I got that one. That way,
You know, because,
makes it,
you know, who else is doing
doesn't
a lot?
look back and
You know what I mean? So hopefully,
and that's it. I go back first, you know. But, and then they would just do that.
she's got 2 lots of corner.
That's pretty easy. Once the title comes.
I did look back there and those lots are up there that I put up there.
Yes, I saw that, yeah. But she has a really great electricity fire. So she has like 9,000, 9,000. Yeah. But who gives up?
Well, so we're,